Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently ready to get our HLS upgraded. We've already installed this docking port out over here. Let's get Bill EVA'd. We need to move our Orion. It should not be docked up over here, but first I want to move these struts. So we're just going to get this strutted in over here, nice and firm. No problem whatsoever there. Let's just get that put in something along the lines of this. Excellent. Now I want to move our Orion over to its correct docking port. So let's undock here. This is going to give us a small amount of distance over this way, but not really very much at all. Let's control from here and set this as our target, but we're way too close to actually turn. So for now, we're going to hop over here and we're going to set this as our target. There we go. And we can definitely control from here. We should already be doing that. And let's use RCS here. We do not have forward and back thrusters, but we can absolutely head out over this direction and get ourselves some clearance out here. So that should be reasonably fine to do. And then we'll just head in over here. We'll get this turned and no problem whatsoever. So let's just get this set up here. We may want to retract this panel for now, but I think it's probably okay. Let's point at target and turn RCS off. And then this should be pointing at target as well. I want to make sure we're controlling from here and point at target. Now, we're probably going to pick up an oscillation here because we have very little reaction wheel on here. All of our reaction wheel and all of our mass is here, but this is a pretty weak joint. So we'll keep an eye on that. But this appears to be lining up reasonably nicely. We'll freeze the physics once we are pretty close, and that'll be okay. Cool. We're still moving a bit here. That is reasonably fine. We should probably lock this when we're doing this sort of maneuvering, to be honest, but it's okay. So we're basically in position right now. I'm going to put us on kill rot. And I'm also going to freeze the physics right now. Okay. That's okay. It's not amazing. So we'll just put it in there and freeze physics. We're definitely drifting a little bit. Cool. So let's just bring this on in at this point, and 0.3 meters per second is good enough. I want this to be on kill rot. Docking forces will probably deal with this. Okay, we're going to need to definitely do some RCS work here. Okay. There's a lot of sway happening right now. Docking forces? Way too much sway. RCS off, please. Okay. This needs Smart ASS to be off. Docking forces will likely get this under control. I'm going to put us on... Actually, hang on. That's pretty good. Docking forces and that collision combined together. So we need to go this direction, and that's exactly what we're going to do. That sway was insane. It's also not particularly realistic. It's just because that joint was weak. But this is fine. There we go. So we're docked up in our correct docking port now. Smart ASS is off. RCS is off. That looks good. Now what we need to do is get these Gigantors installed onto our HLS. So Bill is going to EVA here. We're going to let go, and we're going to head off over this direction. I'm thinking right now that they're going to get installed above the engine blocks in hopes that they're not occluded by the engine blocks. So we can install it like right here. And then the other one I'm going to temporarily install here. That's not going to be the final location for that, but I'm thinking right now 90-degree angles with these solar panels, but above the engine blocks. So that is what we're angling for here. That would, of course, mean that this solar panel is going to end up going about right here or so. Center of the black point. Okay, we can move this one over to be about there. That's approximately centered. Okay, so with that upgrade complete, we are now pretty much ready to hop into our airlock over here, transfer our crew over to the HLS, and begin our landing operation here. So let's grab on here and let's board. Then we're going to transfer over our crew from the Orion capsule directly into the HLS. So we'll transfer that, transfer this. We don't have reverse thrusters on this, so it's going to be a little bit awkward, but let's go ahead and undock our HLS. We've got a little bit of rotation here. Let's freeze that first. Okay, now we'll undock. There we go. That should give us a small amount of momentum away, but what we really need to do right now... Yeah, very small amount. What we really need to do right now is make our way over into orbital retrograde. What direction is that going to be? Out over here? Yeah, that seems fine. Let's close the shield on our Clampatron docking port. That'll be absolutely A-okay. And then we want to go in for our landing. Now, this thing is heavy, no doubt about that, but we'll extend this solar panel and extend this solar panel. Looks good. Our thrust to weight is 1.73. That's not phenomenal, but it should be acceptable. And let's just get ourselves into this retrograde position. Where are we at with regard to the Terminator? Okay, this is reasonable burn time. I don't mind this burn time at all. We could target like this crater, perhaps. Yeah, that seems okay. So I'm going to ensure that we're clear. We are clear of the station. We are go to burn. So we're going to commence this braking burn, and I want to drop our periapsis to be somewhere like out over here-ish. So it's going to impact out here, and we just want it to get down to 2-0, right? We want to be in an impact trajectory, and that's it. Right around here or so, I want to add a maneuver, and actually, it should be closer to here. I want to add a maneuver and just get rid of our horizontal speed. So we can definitely see that this is a little bit north here. A little too north. But it's probably okay. Now that I look at it, I think it's fine. So we'll just align for that burn. I'm not going to come off of this equatorial orbit for purposes of this. We don't really need to hit it bang on in the center, right? We've been there before. So that's not a problem. Let's just get into position for that burn. That'll be in about 9 minutes. Okay, so we want to get rid of our horizontal speed once we're there. Looks good. In about 1 minute. Beautiful. We've got about a 50-second window here. 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So let's get rid of that horizontal speed. That looks absolutely fine. We also see our vertical speed going down right now. That will change. So that is okay. We'll physics warp our way through this burn and look to position ourselves somewhere within this crater. We can head up this way if we really want to. I'm not sure how much we really want to, though. Okay, so about 250 meters per second to go. Actually, we probably do want to head this direction. But let's finish this burn first, and then we can see about doing that. We're still quite high up here, although we should be in radar altitude mode rather than sea level mode. There we go. And coming out of the physics warp. This is good enough. Okay, so at this point, I want to move us, looks like this direction. We just happened to be moving the correct direction. I like it. I want to put in some amount of speed out this way. So we'll just put it in over here. I want to be in kill rot, please. Thank you. And now we're going to go into surface velocity minus. Where are we at here? We should probably continue to push this out a little bit. Okay, something about like that. That'll do. So we're going to be landing much more internally in the crater now instead of on this crater wall. That seems absolutely fine. We've only got about 36 meters per second of horizontal speed, and we're going to let this build up a little bit. We've got about 3 minutes on our countdown That seems reasonably fine. So let's just physics warp our way through this and continue to be in surface velocity mode. Beautiful. If we regular warp this, we will not have a correct countdown here for our landing burn. So that is, slightly problematic. Okay. So this is all looking absolutely solid. And this looks like a good place to be coming down to me. And if we're here, yeah, I think we're absolutely fine in that regard. We've got about 40 seconds left on our burn timer. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Coming out of physics warp, I'm going to commence this at about 1 second remaining, maybe even closer to half a second. We know it's going to be going up. Actually, I'm going to do it at 0. There we go. This is not going to be perfectly accurate, and we're going to overshoot this, so that's absolutely fine. So, commencing that burn, we do not have our landing legs extended yet. We probably should, but we're still 20 kilometers up. So for the time being, I'm not too concerned about that one. This is all looking reasonable on our deceleration. Of course, our deceleration speed isn't all that fast. We're only at 2.1 thrust to weight right now, but as we burn off fuel, that is getting better. In reality, landing this thing fully fueled is quite inefficient. We should not be doing that. Half fuel is likely sufficient and would be a lot more efficient. But here we are. So that's reasonably fine for now. We are seeing our horizontal speed dropping a little bit. That is normal. Absolutely normal there. And we're about 10 kilometers up right now, still moving at about 160 meters per second, but things are looking good here. No problem whatsoever. So we've got about 7 seconds left on our landing burn countdown here. I'm just going to continue to burn until that gets up to, I don't know, somewhere around 10-ish. It's probably reasonably fine. Okay, it's currently at 10, and we're just going to shut off those engines and let that drift on down. Looks good. 3, 2, 1, 0. Resuming the burn. Fantastic. So that is going to be a much more precise landing, but it's not, going to be perfect. That's absolutely fine. We're about 4 kilometers up right now, and I'm wondering how flat this is going to be. As usual, we're going to want to move as much fuel as we can downward. So we're just going to do this. There we go. And we just want to move the fuel down. I'm going to toggle our gear action group, and we're only moving at about 40 meters per second right now. We should cut our engines again. There we go. I'm going to open this guy up. I'm keeping an eye on this timer here, and we're going to commence burn now. There we go. I'm going to close this guy. We're going to flow out from here. There we go. And pin this open. Pin this open. And we're going to flow in here. Beautiful. We can see that this is getting very, very not reliable at this point. We're still 1.2 kilometers up, so we are not quite ready to manually do this yet. But we'll let it drift down a little bit. Okay. This will probably be the last burn here. So 7 seconds, 8, 9, and 10. Where's our shadow at? We're currently about 600 meters up. There's our shadow. Okay. So that is looking reasonably good. I'm going to start a slow-ish deceleration here. A little faster than that. This is looking okay. We're going to take this down to about 1-ish meters per second. Cool. I want to be flowing in here. 10 meters per second. 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm throttling down a little bit here. We're decelerating a little too quickly. 3 meters per second. Throttling down further. We're still about 60 meters up right now. It looks like this is going to be another slide, which is, not necessarily great. I'm going to put us in up at this juncture. And I want to decelerate a little bit more. 1.2 meters per second. 1.1 meters per second. And that's a touchdown. We are bouncing. I don't know that we have this under control. We do not. Lifting it off, and we'll try it again. I'm just going to put us, like, down over here. Okay. So we're going to need to go to horizontal velocity minus, although I don't really want to be out this way. I want to take us further this direction. I guess this will have to do. Okay, so we're going to be at surface velocity minus here. And commencing the burn. I don't love this positioning, to be clear. I really don't love this positioning. Okay, our horizontal speed is a problem. Quite a problem. But we'll give this a go. Okay, something about like this. How's that bounce going to be? Too much? Too much. Okay. Yep, we need to put this in kill rot. And I'm just going to take us more like here. This is just too hilly of an area. Okay, we're going to cut that down. Surface velocity minus is where we want to be. But we really want to be more along the up side of it, right? Because we're going to be going nearly straight down here. And we want to put this in probably kill rot here and just rotate it on around over this way. And then we want to lock it to surface velocity up as that gets closer. Cool. Okay, keeping an eye on timers here. Commencing the burn. Okay, getting our horizontal under control-ish. And let's bring this in one more time. Hopefully third time's the charm here. Bringing down our speed. 7 meters per second. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 meter per second. And touchdown. How are we doing here? I think we're not tipping over this time. Beautiful. We are sliding over the surface, and that's a thing, but we got an autosave, and we can actually save here at this point, unlike last time. So we're sliding over the surface, but that's absolutely fine. This is not a problem at all here. So that's great. While our Kerbonauts are doing things here, let's hop on back to the Space Center, and my question is, when we're at 1,000,000 meters for our refueling ship, how much fuel can we get there with a standard Starship tanker? That's a question I want to ask at this time. Essentially, how many Starship tankers are we going to need to refuel each one of these? It's probably going to be more than it was at the lower orbit, but I don't actually expect it to be that much more. So let's open this up, and let's see what that ends up looking like. So this is going to be our Starship tanker redone. There we go. We're going to load this up, and we're going to launch this guy. So that should be absolutely fine. We're going to put it out on the pad, and let's see what we get done here. Hopefully, we can recover both of these. That would be ideal. However, I don't foresee us recovering the Starship portion this episode. That'll probably be a next episode sort of thing. Or maybe it would be off camera, because I want to see how much it's going to take in order to do this on camera here. But I kind of want to do the actual refueling off camera because it's not, in my opinion, all that interesting. So we'll throttle up here, we'll put ourselves on kill rot, and let's get at it. Fantastic. So we're going to do our usual ascent profile. We want this thing to get fairly high here, no doubt about that. So let's lift it up to an apoapsis height of about 20 or so kilometers before we start getting any amount of horizontal speed. We're going to want some horizontal speed on it, but this should really get more vertical than horizontal. And that's exactly what the goal is here. So we're going to push that up to about 20 kilometers, then we'll head to the 45-degree marker, and that's where we're going to do any additional maneuvers from. So we just want to punch up through the atmosphere here, get our apoapsis up, and position that about here. Now I want to take us over to that 45-degree marker, and let's see how that ends up going. We're pulling off heading, but that's okay. We can correct that. Okay, let's just put this right about here. And we know that we want to preserve somewhere around 6 seconds of burn. So that is what we're going to retain here. We've got 12 seconds left. We see that apoapsis looking pretty good. 9, 8, 7, 6. Shut down. Stage separation. And we're out of here. We want to be at horizontal velocity up at this point. Okay, so we've got lots of apoapsis height. That was a really, really good first engine burn. I like that a lot. And time to apoapsis is holding when we're just getting horizontal speed right now. We need to accelerate up quite a lot, and I want to put our apoapsis at about 600 meters, which is a lot of meters. Well, 600,000 meters. 600 kilometers, I guess I should say. That is a lot of meters, and it'll take some time to get there. The question is, just how much of this fuel are we going to get there? And that is going to be an interesting question. It's probably going to require a number of refueling missions. My guess is at least 5. But we'll see how it goes. So we're at 125 right now. And that number is not going up very quickly. It will start to go up exceedingly quickly in about another 400 meters per second or so, though. So that is looking absolutely good. 145, 146, there's 150. Definitely starting to exponentially increase. 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, and we're aiming for about 600 here. So we're now at 300 kilometers, 400 kilometers, 500 kilometers, and a little bit more, 600 kilometers. It really doesn't take that much more to go from 100 to 600. It really, really doesn't. For now, of course, we need to go over to our probe here, not the debris, the probe. We'll switch to that, and this is going to be beginning its re-entry, of course. So we'll just orient that over to surface velocity minus, and the question is, are we going to have to do a re-entry burn? So let's go to surface velocity minus, let's deploy our air brakes, and we've got about 600 meters per second here. I'm comfortable doing a re-entry burn if we have to. But let's just position this up over here. We're actually still... No, we just started going down. Okay. But we haven't entered the atmosphere yet. We see the surface velocity minus absolutely changing here. And that's expected. We're going to be hitting atmosphere right about now. Okay. We're still accelerating. Of course, we don't want to get those drogue chutes out just yet. Okay, we are in attitude at this point. Still accelerating. Now we're starting to decelerate. Okay. We're about 10 kilometers up right now. I'm commencing a braking burn here. There we go. We're continuing to decelerate here. Those chutes are still not available. Now they are. Okay, chutes are out. And we ran out of fuel. Okay. Well, clearly 6 seconds of fuel was a little too much. I'm actually surprised, and yeah, we did lose that. That is unfortunate. But it's not the end of the world. We are going to get paid for that. I'm a little surprised that the chutes weren't deployable there at like 500 meters per second. I expected them to be deployable slightly early there, but it's always a butt clencher, and I need to remember to budget the fuel for that. 3 additional seconds of fuel would have done it, so instead of 6, we need to go for 9. That is very clear. We'll recover what we can, but of course, there's not much to recover here. That was pretty much a loss, and that was mostly just me limit testing the minimum amount of fuel that we can have, right? So, lesson learned, 9 seconds, not 6. 9. That'll be okay. 3 seconds of additional fuel is fine. So with that in mind, the question is, just how much fuel are we going to be delivering to this thing, right? So I'm not going to do like the whole dock up. We're getting very close to the end of... Oh, I just quit the menu accidentally. That was not what I intended to do. There should be an autosave, right? Okay, that's very awkward. I'll be back in a moment once that's reloaded. There should have been an autosave. Okay, we have reloaded, and judging by this money amount, yeah, it autosaved. So that is perfect. We're going to hop into the tracking station here, and we need to get that ship into orbit, right? And I want to see... Yes, there's this debris here. There's all of this debris. Yeah, that'll be fine. Let's get this cleaned out. That is reasonably expected. Basically, only the parachutes survived that impact. That was just indicative, like I said, of a lack of fuel. So we'll consider that a limit test. We discovered where the limits of that re-entry system are. That's absolutely worth knowing. So this is debris here. We can get rid of that. We have the Lunar Gateway landed at the moon and the Lunar Gateway orbiting the moon. This is awkward, but okay. The Starship tanker redone is, of course, on the suborbital trajectory, and this is our primary mission. The recovery of that first stage was only a secondary mission, although it would have saved us a lot of money, and it's very sad that we lost it. We don't have a lot of money margin at this point to the game. We are, of course, very close to completed with the game, but... yeah, we don't have a lot of margin. So let's set this guy as our... Whoa. Did my mouse just double-click there? I clicked once. I guess we're loading in the fuel tanker. Okay, that was wild. Sure, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to be not in the rescue craft. I want to not Sputnik. The Starship tanker redone. There we go. Let's load this guy up. And the question is, how much Delta V are we going to have left when we get there? Or not even Delta V, how much raw fuel, right? So we currently have somewhere around a little under half a tank. And we do have another big burn to do. So I want to set this guy as our target and check our ascending descending node, 1.1 degrees. Okay, we're going to head in somewhere around here. That's actually pretty close. Okay, about 416 meters per second with a relative speed of 155. So we'll call it about 600 more meters per second to get us there. So about 25, a third to a quarter of a tank is what we would have when we get there. Okay, that's going to take a lot. I am going to do that off camera, and we'll get this refueled and have that completely good to go. And as far as recoveries go, they should be fine, in theory. I'll just budget it differently, right? So that's okay. It's not a big deal at all. So I'm going to do this off camera. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.